like late February. We just got through like all the holidays. It's snowing outside. It's sad and cold, and you guys all still made it out here. I am beyond impressed. So as I said, my name is Brass Rabbit. I will be your host for this evening. As you guys know, we are here for an evening of storytelling, poetry, prose, spoken word, tap dance if you got it, whatever else you could possibly do on this stage. I am open to having that happen. Just to get into some of the guidelines, we actually do have a theme this month. Our theme for the evening is pivot. Pivot. If one more person DMs me about Friends, I'm going to start screaming. I've never seen that show. I don't get what the reference is. If someone would like to come up here and explain it, that would be welcome. So our theme is pivot. For anyone who has been here before, as you guys know, we are not very strict on our themes, though. We know some people don't always read all the things under all the stuff that, or maybe you just were not aware of it. Maybe you came here by happenstance. Maybe you're just trying things out. So if you do not have a piece that fits into that theme, you're more than welcome to come up here and give us your best 5 seconds of debate as to why your piece does fit into the theme. That or you can just let us all guess and see if maybe you were unprepared or if you just didn't know, or maybe you'll pull it off seamlessly and will not have any questions at all. So our theme is pivot. Everybody that is going to grace this stage tonight has 5 minutes. We will be relatively strict on that time. We will be relatively strict on the time because I have 8,000 of you who are going to be performing tonight, and I need to go home, as you all do as well. So you've got 5 minutes. We have a system that we are currently adapting right now for our timing. At that 5-minute mark, you're going to hear...
Ooh, gotcha.
Yeah, there you go. It's poetry. Get ready, strap it. So you're going to hear that sound at 5 minutes. That's the sound that's going to alert you that you need to start wrapping it up. You need to skip a stanza. You need to skip 2 stanzas. You got to get it together. You got to get off that stage. You need to be beginning the end. So inevitably, you will take longer than expected, and then you're going to be at another minute. So you're going to be at 6 total minutes, and at that point, you're going to hear the sound. Ah!
Perfect.
So, not the other sound, but the previous sound that you heard. So you're going to hear that sound, and that means that you really need to get off the stage because I'm going to start growling at you, and we all need to get out of here at some point. So that is your sound reminder. That's your time reminder. We have a lot of people tonight, so please try and keep your preambles to a minimum if you know that you've got several pieces that you want to share. When you get up here, feel free to talk to us about your Instagram, your book, your website, your new tattoos, whatever else it is that you want to share with us to provide context, to provide an additional level of community to where we can find you afterwards, but just make sure you do that efficiently so you're not eating too much into your own time. As far as content goes, we do have a theme. The theme doesn't really matter, the points don't matter, everything is made up. It seems like we kind of are all adults here, so we can do some adult language if you're feeling crazy. The only thing that we ask is no hate speech, graphic content, that kind of stuff that doesn't belong in a theater in Princeton, New Jersey. Speaking of Princeton, New Jersey, can we please give a round of applause to the Arts Council of Princeton for hosting us? Let's see, no hate speech, you can tap dance. The theme is pivot. I'm trying to think of anything else. We've got some filming going on tonight. That's really exciting. If you want to find it, it's going to be on YouTube later. That's where you'll be able to find the filmed footage, just so you know. And without further ado, I would like to bring up our first performer. This is a near and dear performer who's been gracing our stage, and we are ever grateful for them. They'll be sharing a story. Please put your hands together for Lillian. Lillian, come on.
Good evening. I often wake up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want to bother my husband, Mark, so I lie there quietly, and my mind wanders to many places, near and far, sometimes, often, very ancient. And this is a story I wrote. I finished it this afternoon. And it is titled, In the Beginning. Tens of thousands of years before the first caves were painted, there was the first deity, not made of bone or stone, but of wood, long ago destroyed by time and weather. Born of pain and instinct, this was her beginning. The women did not know and could not comprehend what had happened as time slowly caused the growth of the gray matter in the skull to make bringing forth a new life so unbearable. Mala sat crouched and cried out until the pain passed, momentarily, only to continue again and again and yet again. Knowingly, she called her young one and sent her to gather the big leaves that would prepare the ground for the new one. But while gathering the leaves, the girl saw a piece of twisted branch near the big leaves that seemed to beckon her. A closer look revealed flowers on the branch with what looked like dew that stuck to her fingers when she touched them. The curved branch fit in the palm of her hand snugly, and she began to feel a strange sensation. So she took it, along with the big leaves, to the dwelling where her mother lay. There, she gave her mother the big leaves and told her about the branch with the sticky flowers. When Mala held the branch and touched the flowers, she felt the strange sensation. Then, she somehow knew she should rub the sticky flowers all over her belly and between her legs. The pain eased, and the new one came easier than the other one she had before. Later, Mala took the edge of a clamshell she used to scrape the hides and carved the piece of wood slightly to better fit her hand, and saved it for the next time a new one would come, hoping it would help her again. Then she told the others who could have new ones about it, and told them what she did, and showed them the branch and the sticky flowers. They listened with interest and followed Mala and the young one to the place where she found the branch with the sticky flowers and took some for themselves. The story spread quickly among those who could have new ones in her clan, and they too gathered the branches with the sticky flowers, hoping they would help them when their bellies grew big and a new one was to come. Soon, there were many who held the branches and rubbed the sticky flowers on their bellies and between their legs when the pain of a new one began, and they too carved the branch to make it better to hold, as Mala showed them. At the big clan gathering, the story was told to those who could have new ones, and they too gathered the branches with the sticky flowers and carved them and held them and rubbed their bellies and between their legs when a new one was to come. As time passed, the old ones would tell the story of Mala and sing songs in praise of the mystery in the branch with the sticky flowers and the figures they made out of the branches that eased their pain when the new one came. They carried their carved figures with them from place to place and told the ones who could have new ones and their young ones about the power in the flower and the spirit in the branches that helped them when a new one was to come. And from the experience of these ancient women so long, long ago, a belief in a power, a spirit beyond themselves, was recognized, and the goddess was born.
So for those of you that perhaps just sat down and grabbed a seat, as they seem to be hard to come by tonight, we do have something available called Micro Stories, which is a way for the audience to participate in this event without actually getting up and doing anything. I participate for you. And if you feel so moved to, I'm going to read them between every performer as I have an allotment of them. They're a scarce resource, I will tell you. So if you feel so inspired at any point and you hear these micro stories and you think, I have something to write down that is micro in both story, please feel free to get up, write one down, and you can hand it to me quietly. It should be about 2 sentences or so. This is the first example. Tell us about a time you're glad you made a quick pivot. All the times I've seen that person coming toward me, but I only remember their face, not their name. So you can be a part of that too. All right, up next to the mic, please put your hands together for some spoken word from a first-timer, Maurice. Maurice, come on up.
Actually, never used the microphone before, so we're going to try this out. Never even known one before. So this is a spoken word I wrote a few days ago called Beautiful Soul. Ready? Sometimes I feel so alone in this world, not knowing who I am, and I'm not even whole anymore. Craving something to fill the void that's inside, but it's just an image I hold in my mind. Chasing something unreal just to get a temporary high, but every time I fall, it has me wondering why. Why do I go through depression so soul-crushing? Anxiety that has my heart pulsing, my head rushing. Why do I split from reality, look in the mirror and can't even face it? Why can I say I love myself in the world and then try to escape it? Stuck in a maze, but maybe all these challenges are part of what makes me amazing. How is my mind always racing and I don't know the driver? Running laps around me, burning out its tires. I know I need a rest, because I'm starting to get tired. A contradiction, can't discern real from fiction. What is this mental affliction that my mind is dishing? My lights start to dim, I'm close to my limit. My limits are meant to be broken. If my heart is breaking, then let it stay open. So when it gets dark, let my soul be radiant. Let strength and courage flow through my veins again. And I will rise like a warrior every time. This is my story. Let's create a beautiful life. Suddenly, I think I transcended the prison. I know I'm the one who designed it. Just to get pulled right back in and put in solitary confinement. And I'm screaming to be let out, and then when I listen to the silence, I realize that's the only thing I'm not afraid of. My eyes start to widen. And I look for the life within, I know that's all there is. So then where does pain originate from? How did it come to this? I can feel the doubt taking over every time I get a glimpse of the everlasting bliss that lies on the other side of the shore. I'm not sure who I am. Should I believe the lies anymore? What if I'm just nothing more than an empty vessel? Would I think of myself any less? Why am I not grasping the lesson? I already passed this level, running around in circles, trying to reach a heaven. Travel to the past, travel to the future, say goodbye to the now like I never knew you. But it was trying to give me a gift. That's why it's called the present. So I sit in the stillness and I know it's a blessing. But the polarity has me thinking that a curse lies on the other side. How can I reach a state of unity and dissolve the doubt in my mind? Maybe instead of trying to make it an enemy, we could befriend it and show it love like the rest of me. So let's not judge it based on its only disguise. Nobody wants to get annihilated, it's just trying to survive. Wouldn't it be irrational to think it should be okay with dying? Wouldn't you call that murder and lock me up for life? Without opportunity for bail, no cruelty could compare to how we treat ourselves when we're the ones who are always there to listen to our concerns. Why does it seem so hard to learn from past mistakes? Maybe I just have to let them go. Forgive myself, nobody else can ever show me the love that I withheld from myself, thinking it would be scary to think of myself as someone who truly cares for the greater good. So I locked myself in the prison and judged myself guilty as I thought I should. If I could take away the guilt, I know love is all that could. Survive in a world full of madness and free us from the cell. Do you really think our soul could ever go to hell? For something that it didn't even do, so let it play insanity. And remember, separateness is just an illusion that the human mind creates out of vanity. It's just trying to stay alive. It's afraid of death like the rest of us. Defense mechanisms are designed to protect it because it thinks it's protecting us. So how about we reach out a loving hand and understand the greater plan, the bigger picture, who's with me? We stand together, let's fix this. We may be broken down, but if you look underneath the surface, we're perfect. An ocean has waves, but they come and go, so let's not drown, let's surf them. So am I ever really alone, or do these challenges just serve a purpose to make me into a stronger person? Who can help others take the lesson and spread it like a wildfire? I want to heal myself, so hopefully I can inspire the world around me and not expire anytime soon, because I will live life to the fullest, come full circle and watch me bloom like a beautiful flower that needs rain to grow. And that's how I know that these struggles weren't to break me down, they're not my foe. They were just a bridge to connect me to my spirit. A few years ago, if I saw a bridge, I would be scared to go near it, because I think I would jump so I could cross over to the other side. But now in this new state of mind, I would cross over in another style. It's just a bridge to connect me to my past and forgive myself for my mistakes and then never look back. So we need to come together. Do not let the stormy weather dictate whether or not we should help one another, because we are all one. There's nothing else about it. Love is all there is. How could we survive without it? So as I face the void, I embrace the darkest parts of me, take the wisdom that I acquired and store it into the heart of me. And when I feel alone again or like I'm not whole, I will remember that we are all beautiful souls.
It's like more people keep coming in and they keep being like, oh my God, I'm so impressed that you guys got out of bed today. And then you're like still outside and it's like 7:22. Wow. Oh my God. All right, up next to the mic, we have some spoken word. You may find this person on Instagram at Layers of Obscurity. That's at Layers of Obscurity. Please put your hands together for Tammy Sands. Tammy, come on up.
Thank you. And that Layers of Obscurity is a project that is a creative project that came together with multidisciplinary people, and it's about it gives people the opportunity to feel, remember, and reimagine their interconnectedness to Mother Earth. Woo! So keep on the lookout for it because it's just starting. Pivot to embrace the light. When there is darkness, I pivot to embrace the light. How, you ask? And I say, by choosing not to succumb to the blight. Lightness of being is where I shall firmly bask. And as bright white light shafts through the night sky, an arrow pierces the skin while I, attempting to get in. Agony destructively escapes with a penetrating cry. Still, the lightness of being balances within. Serene directional change, adding positive flow to the proverbial dance. Contrast of dark and light, the fundamental perception, all-seeing. Removed from the grips of fear and confusion like in a trance. Is conscious awareness our collective well-being? No, we are not of the same caste or creed you harshly state, despite the fact that I remain seated, providing the space you need. While listening to you, resisting the truth, the fate of your own hate, I lay witness to our interconnectedness and how we seed and bleed. Gracefully, I sever the artery of low vibration. As you continue with negative temptation, I provide the salve, a resuscitating hydration, as you attempt to desecrate all creation. So when you choose darkness and succumb to the blight, I again pivot to embrace the light.
Tell us about a time you're glad you made a quick pivot. At a time I believed motherhood was an essential milestone. I had a choice of two men. I think often about the path that I did not choose. I'm kind of putting some first-time people up front, so you guys get ready. Shake it off. All right, up next to the mic, it's my first time here. This performer wrote, and then they wrote, ha ha. Please put your hands together for a storyteller. Kush Wonder. Kush, come on up.
What's up, guys? It's my first time here. Maurice, that was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Quick backstory, I actually wrote this after my graduation. It's because I graduated last year. So this is a little funny story that I wrote. It's called Frat Party Epiphany. I walked up to the frat house, mewing as hard as possible. Jaw locked into position with an attitude so rude that it would make the frat boys think I'm one of them. I was met with two brothers at the front door holding their iPhone flashlight, directing me towards the back entrance. I'm a senior in college. At this point, I was familiar with the NPC dialogue. Yo, where's your ratio? It sounded like more of a statement rather than a question, but I responded with a fraternal accent. Yo, my boy said I'm good for free. He said find Ethan and let him know. For those of you who don't know what ratio is, it's when you bring girls to the party so they can make the party better for the frat brothers inside. The backside porch was dimly lit with two iPhone flashlights. One flashlight burning into my cornea and the other held by a figure that emerged from the shadow. The figure hands me a phone with a Venmo QR code to scan. Yo, are you Kush? You're good to go, but your boy's gotta pay. My friend and I are in disbelief. We have no girls with us, and he just asked us to pay $20? I look at my friend, then back at the QR code. I scan the code and try to walk in. The figure announces his name after burning my cornea. Yo, I'm Ethan. I tried to find his hand after being blinded by the solar flare and eventually interlocked our cold, long fingers. I look at my friend and he looks at me with utter humiliation as we walk inside. My glasses immediately fog up due to the sweat and heat packed into this 3,000 square foot house. I passed by a dude who handed me a mysterious blunt and said, "Yo, this shit is loaded with that purple party punch." I took 3 hits and I walked around. As we navigated towards the basement, I asked the dude, "Hey, where's the bar?" He hits me back with a, "Bro, is this your first time here? The bar's downstairs and to the left. It literally says bar on it." I responded with a stale reply, "Thanks." I follow his directions and make my way towards the heavily guarded gates of alcohol. I take out my credit card and ask him for a vodka cran. The brother responded, "Nah, beer for guys only." An arm came forth and handed me a sticky, unopened, room temperature beer can, and that's when it hit me. That's when the realization of life took over my mind and soul. That's also the same exact time another thing hit me. The purple party punch was in full effect, and my mind was disassociating with the environment. And that's when I realized I grew up.
I have to know, what school did you go to?
Rowan University.
I knew it! Oh, man. That makes, yeah. I have friends that moved around. All right, our next performer would like us to know, "I love art, poetry, and walking my dogs." Please put your hands together for Catherine. Catherine, come on. That's a real book.
Hi, my name is Catherine. This is my first time here. This is my first time performing poetry, so I'm kind of scared. But okay. This is a poem I wrote called Train Your Heart. And you must train your heart just like you trained your brain. Change locks on doors that he's never opened and leave notes on walls that he's never came across. Create an invisible string between your houses. Turn heartache into something beautiful, like how with every step back you take, there is a page that is turned. Like a street corner that is full of beggars, how they collapse at your feet, with heartache so strong you can smell it from miles away. And he compares you to a dog that's impossible to train. He analyzes your cracks and burns and he says, "Do you think it's possible to leave?" And he never tried to manage you. He puts you on a level so low that you are matched with serpents, things that only torment humanity. He measured you as a Medusa. He says that you are blinding him with shining evil, yet pure blatant beauty. Says that he can never allow himself to freedom. Says that he is like a moth trying to break out of its shell. He compares you to a key that holds the power to unlock so many doors. And I say that he was like home if it was a person, but you make him dizzy, you make him lightheaded, you create worlds that only you can see. And he says that every girl after me will be drenched and coated in my image. You filled his heart with nothing but what could have been. His body aches with your name. His brain spasms with the consciousness and recollection of aftertaste. The hurt is pounding on us like a beat to a song, the twinge and suffering that is painted in my soul. His mind has become nothing but just a shadow pursuing mine. He is frightened by your want. He compares you to water, constantly dousing his flame. And you are like a broken record, and you knit your fate by yourself until it spells out his name. But you were always too intense. Your emotions were always heightened. Your soul was so fiercely intertwined with vivid remembrance. And you attempted to change. You held your tongue, talked less, smiled more. You tried to be delicate, flexible, more alluring, interesting, less erratic, less unsettled, but you proved to yourself that your constant attempts at change didn't matter in the end. But even in your dreams, you could feel him slowly traveling away, like the fading outro of a song, like how you drive like how you drive everybody away at the seams of the blanket of destiny that you knit yourself. So what did you want to do? Force your heart into the hands of someone who doesn't want to hold it. Your relentless efforts mattered less than the level that he put you on. So if he wanted to leave, you should have just let him leave. You are astounding and bizarre and remarkable. You are something that not everybody knows how to love.
This better be inspiring all you people out here who are like, I think I should go, but I'm not gonna go the next time. We got all these new people going. Anything is possible. We're here while it's snowing in February. Like, anything is possible. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. It's 8 o'clock at night, you're still outside. All right, tell us about a time you were glad you made a quick pivot. I thought he was going to finally acknowledge what was going on between us. Even had my acceptance speech ready when he told me excitedly about his new girlfriend. Our next performer. Our next performer wanted us to know, I play disc golf in the snow because no one else is on the course. Please put your paws together for Woody Karski-Wilson.
Hello everyone, I was driving my kid to Mercer County Community College on 28 January of this year when my decaf coffee sparked the neurons and I had him write the words "you" and "intrusive" in red ink on the back of my hand. I didn't let him use the huge blue Sharpie that he almost did. So the moment I dropped him off, I parked and I wrote this based on those two cues. Pivot time. See, I already got it. So, Puck, hello. This is real from the heart, okay? It's been welling up inside, and I just gotta say, enough of you compelling me to spill my naked guts. I've done that for years. You've got me by the nuts. You've been swimming in the pool of my profoundest desires, and I have let you peer into my creative fires, and I've told you more than you probably wanted to know. It finally dawned on me, though I can be slow, that you, the audience, have been using me. No, wait, I didn't necessarily say abusing me, but it's become a bit codependent, right? Each month I come up here on one specific night, get called up to this glaring, harsh spotlight, which is not glaring right now, but sometimes it is harsh. It doesn't matter when I'm feeling rage or even fright, I must perform, and sometimes I'm thin, sometimes I'm chunky, but still, I am your performing monkey. Well, even good monkeys need their bananas, so here's my hand sticking out through the cage. I hope we're on the same page. I will ask a question, and then I will point to an audience member, and you will perform. Don't get your nose out of joint. It's only fair. It's life. You gotta live it. So tonight, me and the audience, we both get to... All right, there we go. That's twice. Here's how it'll go down. So you'll stand, state your first name, and then answer my question. For example, if I ask, what is your most secret sexual fantasy? You might say, hi, I'm Dana, and I always wanted to have sex with all 99 Smurfs at the same time, but not with Smurfette, because that would be weird. She's their sister. So, got it? Here we go. So question one, when you were a child of 7 years old, what did you dream of being one day? Actually, just raise your hand. Thank you, Georgette. You put your hand vaguely up there. A sharpshooter. Do I dare ask what you'd be sharpshooting after this election? What's that? CIA? Okay, well that's cool. That works. Just randomly go up to some office and say I'm a sharpshooter for whoever you are. Me. Cool, I like that. Me, it was astronaut, and I actually had the chance one day to take that training. I remember I was sitting down, it came across my desk, and I was like, shit, I've moved on from that. I can't go out and die as an astronaut. I have a family, so I didn't do it. That's the only reason, and my eyesight, that I'm not an astronaut. And the 5,000 other people trying for the position. So number two, since the position is currently vacant, if you could have any intelligent person on earth become president of the United States, who would it be? Anyone.
Anyone.
Okay, I said, because at least she knows how to listen. So 3, how many times has your heart truly been broken? Come on. Was that 1? Did somebody say 1?
Today?
Today.
Once.
1, just
But I
1.
don't do relationships, so.
Okay, all right. I would say 3 times for me, but then if you talk about your country breaking your heart, that adds up for you. So continuing with my questions, why is it you keep undressing me with your eyes? I'm sorry, that was just a question for the general audience. Boundaries, people, eyes are up here. So for easy question, how long do you think the human race will survive?
You got 5 years left.
There's nothing like it. This is no big deal. Anybody? What's that?
Too long.
Too long. Okay. I was kind of like, I don't know, but it's not looking good for the home team. So February. Okay. So 5. What's the angriest you've ever been in your life? I heard that. Anybody? I'll
That's a sharp shooter.
What's that?
Day after election day.
Thank you. That's my answer too. So, what is? I pissed my wife off. I broke the bedroom door with a punch. I'm not kidding. Yeah, it was very juvenile. What is your biggest regret in life? That's not a loaded question. Anyone? All the way back.
Not saying I love you to my dad the day before he died.
You won. I cannot type that.
Opening my heart after it's been broken.
Well done, sir. That is not easy to do. So 7A is a sensitive topic, so you can opt for 7B if you want to. So 7A is, if you could go back to before you were born and set your gender, whether non-binary, agender, male, female, or any other label you want to use, what would it be? And we're assuming any children you currently have, if you do, are grandfathered in, so to speak, and that's regardless of whatever physical capabilities. So anybody want to answer that? Your hand went up.
No, I was just.
Oh, no. All right.
Male, absolutely.
Okay, cool. And damn, I didn't even say 7B was, if you didn't want to answer that, what is your favorite color? So since you went ahead and answered that loaded question, I will answer honestly, purple. No, seriously, I would either be female, because I find women possess more beauty than men, and I think that is objectively correct, or I'd be whatever the correct name is for the combined gender situation of the Greek deity Hermaphrodite. I saw that statue in the Louvre once and I said, yes, I choose you, Pikachu. And the French people stared at me strangely, but they were already doing it. So, and the final question, if you could choose a theme for next month's performance, what would it be?
Hope.
Hope. Okay, I was going to go with the darkest obsession. It's also but hope, I like that one better. And thank you, audience, for pivoting with me tonight. I'll see you next month when, once again, I shall rip the still beating heart from my chest for your brazen eyes.
The darkest obsession. So actually, just as a small tangent, a couple years ago, before myself and Melissa took over this event, we had another coordinator who was doing more of the heavy lifting, the administrative work, and they chose to do a February theme that was like, it was like lost abandoned love or something like that, and it was down, and it kept going more down, and you didn't think it could get worse, and then somebody else would get up and they'd be like, and then this happened. It was so bad, and the weather was so bad, and everything. Yeah, so we'll wait till like May to do darkest obsession. Get some better vibes going on. All right, our next performer to the mic actually has something to say that's very topical. They said, I don't like winter, and they made a face that was like. For a poem, please put your hands together for Vonnie. Vonnie, come on up.
Come on, Bonnie.
How do you guys feeling tonight?
Good.
I was talking to my twin on the way here, and I was like, I'll call you way back. I'll probably catch you before you leave because it's gonna be like 10 people, it's snowing, and then I can't make So maybe winter is not so bad because it draws people because there's nothing else to do. So I'm reading winter's not too bad. I'm Bonnie, I'm a poet. My stage name is Phenomenal Busy Woman. And I wrote a new poem to align with the theme Pivot.
Woo.
It's called, I love the way you challenged me to write new poems. Because I gotta come up with the theme. So it's called Pivot. You tried to bring me down, hold me down, kick me when I was down. And when I needed you, you were never down. And as the blood boiled through my veins, I wanted to return the same energy that you gave to me. Frustration, aggravation, exasperation, devastation. But instead, I decided to pivot that energy towards something constructive. So I focused on creating a new circle, a circle of people that would surround me with good vibes, great energy, positivity, creativity. Best decision I ever made, because now I am finally at peace. Who knew there was so much strength in the art
All right.
of pivoting?
Woo. Tell us about a time you were glad you made a quick pivot. This scoutmaster of my kids' troop was a real asshole. And before meeting, I was ready to punch him. Instead, I shook his hand, said some kind words, and smoothed things over in front of the kids. He's still an asshole, though. All right, up next to the mic for some poetry, please put your hands together for Paul. Paul, come on up.
Well, hello, everybody. Good to see you. My name is Paul Tanner Kennedy. Everybody knows me. They call me Paul, but I like my middle name very much, so I always use it when I'm meeting new people. And just good to be here tonight. First time, as it's already been mentioned, I drove up nice to be in Princeton. I came up from Mount Holly, New Jersey, Burlington County, and it was feel very good. I pretty much finished up this poem at the library today. Started it this morning, and feel pretty good about it. So coming up, I had it written out and just ready to go. And when I got here, I took the manuscript and left my reading glasses on the seat, the passenger side of my car. It's about 50 yards away, but the good news is the letters are big enough. Good to be here. I wrote a poem this morning. I entitled it, What See You? Their thoughts, rambles within troubled mind, dangerously leading steps, although it is blind, leading in a world where one cannot see, where questions are not asked, a place not to be. The sun gloriously shines, the bird and the tree, the wounded spirit allows not the eye to see. Pivot, their thought, soothe within, peaceful mind, uncovering wisdom, the vision to be kind. Leading to a world where neighbors walk, whomsoever they are free to talk. The clouds release a heavy, cold rain. Perfect day for a hot cup of tea. Feeling at ease, but mindful of those who are cold and wet. The Spirit lets you see. Thank you.
One hell of a speaking voice, no? Wow. Wow. All right, our next performer gave me a fidget spinner before we began. You can find them on TikTok and Instagram at The Gentle Puck. Please put your hands together for Puck.
How is everyone? Well, what up for Mark?
Well, pour one up for Mark.
Where is Mark?
Mark be in Bermuda, Mark be in Bahamas.
Wow.
Mark must be doing like everything and anything.
Keep the fidget spinner? That thing is awesome. It's got like everything on it.
Do that. So I'm like clicking. I'm not clicking on it because you guys don't hear me over here doing.
Alright. So, this piece I already performed at a different open mic night. I'm recycling it because I think it still fits the theme. There is a very pivotal moment, see if you can spot it. It's called Identity Outfitters. Hello and welcome to the crown jewel of them all, Identity Outfitters. First time here? No worries, we've got a label for everyone. We here at Identity Outfitters pride ourselves in providing high quality, tailor-fit identities at competitive, essential prices. Don't know where to start? No worries, our inventory can appear daunting at first, but as you look around, you'll find it is so much worse, I mean better than it appears. Let me show you around. Right over here, we have our 4 classic and well-known brands: lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. Strong, sturdy, built to hold up for years to come. Truly classic and memorable. You can't go wrong. What's that? None of them fit you? That's fine. This is only the tip of the iceberg, so let's keep looking for your perfect fit. Ooh, non-binary, very in right now. Fluid, dynamic, pairs well with a strong sense of self. Too loose? Here, try on this one, or this one, or this one. Agender, gender fluid, genderqueer, gender flux. Oh, that one's reversible, works for different seasons. Apogender, demigender, pangender, androgynous, two-spirit. Ooh, wait, that last one is part of closed practice. Are you indigenous? No, okay, it's best if we put that one back. But no worries, like I said, we have an endless other options to choose from. No, unfortunately, you can't leave without picking something. Store policy, you know. But don't worry, we have a 30-day return policy. But if you change your mind too many times, people might start asking questions. Unless, of course, you buy our limited time only abrosexual, which takes care of that problem. Some people spend hours in here trying on label after label. It's fine, it's normal, right? Come, we have many more options to choose from. Overwhelmed? That's fine, let me give you a crash course. Over here we've got our sexual orientations: autosexual, cupiosexual, gynosexual, allosexual, neptunic, plasiosexual, reciprosexual, or maybe you have romance on the brain, or lack thereof, aromantic. Oh, here's an old favorite of mine, polyamorous. I've been rolling with this baddie since high school and wait, why doesn't this fit me anymore? This used to be so comfortable, so me, but now I can't fit even a single leg into it. Now what do I do? Okay, no big deal. I just need a new size. Maybe coy romantic? No, too vague. Relationship anarchist? I mean, I like the chaos, but that's not quite it either. Demisexual? No, why don't any of these fit? This is all wrong. Look around. How have I never noticed it before? There are customers stuck in dressing rooms, trying on label after label, trapped in a never-ending cycle of lost and found identities. My employees, they're forcing labels over people's heads and trapping their arms in restrictive and ill-fitting sleeves. People are anxiously checking the return policy, afraid to commit to something that threatens to stick to them for the rest of their lives. A tattoo that they had gotten on impulse and regretted every day thereafter. No, I can't do this anymore. I've spent so much time, I've spent so much time treating mine and others' identities like a damn sweater that needs to perfectly hug the contours of our bodies. We are not products. I am not a brand. I am not some carefully curated aesthetic meant to be displayed in the queer section of society's department store. You know what? I quit. I'm done breaking myself into bite-sized labels so others can digest me more easily. I am not a fucking SKU number. I am whatever the hell I want to be, or nothing at all. Welcome to Identity Outfitters, where they tell you how you ought to be and where you belong in a catalog, where they equate your worth with your label. Don't be too vague so others don't ask questions, but don't be too specific because then you'll be crying for attention. The shittiest of shit stores. Oh, and by the way, none of these labels have pockets. Thank you.
Tell us about a time you're glad you made a quick pivot. Every time I let go of everything that happened, breathe out, remember every moment is so beautifully new. All right, our next performer will be sharing some spoken word. They write, first time performing. Financial justice and local investing advocate. Please put your hands together for Dylan Washington.
Yeah, this is my first time. So to be on theme, I wrote this a while ago, kind of like one of the first things I wrote, kind of like with this school like business school in the United States, so pretty much indoctrinated to be like a finance bro, and like just like been trying to like pivot away from that. So this first piece is untitled. So from hippies dipping, students doing sit-ins, to wicked poverty pimping, wonder where I fit in. No Name said give Taiwo a listen. Now we mastered identity politicking. My privilege is mine to wield, generational wealth to shield. Microphone check, sharpening my swords, aiming at the neck of these neo-lib nerds. That's the first piece. I have a second piece, not really on theme, but really going into the financial justice vibe. And I wrote it kind of like a song, so like there's like 3 verses. The first one's about local investing, then about like the military media complex, and then I got some of my thoughts on the economy. So the first verse: 10% type might save your life, but 90 in Babylon just sounds wrong. Every day I'm talking transparency, feel like no one is hearing me. Tell it to you straight in these vocals, no cryptology, keep that shit local. Green bonds, crown funds, community land trust, all love, no speculation or luck. My people like community institutions. We're gonna cut through the corporate illusions, sharing power, so no poverty pimping. scheming boomer, don't want to listen. Like a youngin' with a lottery mentality, quick buck justifies lethality. Finance bro, portfolio pure evil, but this silver spoon is for feeding the feeble. Second verse. At the mountaintop, discussing Martin's vision, he said, fuck the cops and Lockheed Martin's mission. Gotta use the tools of the master to pay rent, but don't be a fool to manufacture consent. Be careful of their satanic lies. CNBC is genocide sanitized. Fancy Uncle Sammy while he rally around the family, pocket full of shells, rockets gonna sell. Hell is other people's technology. Don't be an agent to leading ideologies. Media co-opted any given day. Uncle Ruckus no worse than Stephen A. Posting guns in an Insta clip, dropping bombs on the Gaza Strip. Tell me which one's gonna make you trip. Tell me which one's gonna make you trip. Third verse. Buy bonds to drop bombs on Palestine. And brothers still getting redlined. Fine, you don't get the logic. So let me break down the economic. This economy is highly abstract, half imaginary, and not based in fact. My people got bent knees and backs, while leaders just rent-seeking quacks. This economy is so damn savage, no one cares that only half manage. Might as well be in the middle passage, the way they hate you for being a little average. This economy has no empathy, expanding like the universe, feel the entropy. We want an economy that's decent, so go ahead and keep your 2 cents.
All right, our next performer will be sharing a poem and/or poems. You will be able to find their work on Instagram at Erato the Muse. Please put your hands together for, you guessed it, Erato the Muse. Erato, come on up.
Everybody had such fun facts on their slips of paper, but I came in late and this is my first time, so I didn't know that we could do that. My fun fact is that my cat Zachary was very angry at me for coming to this because I never cuddled him beforehand. I have been in a bit of a writing dry spell. I haven't written anything in 2 weeks. I've been stuck editing old poems. So I have a couple of poems that are kind of loosely fitting to the theme. I had to look up the definition of pivot. It's like when you read a word and you kind of understand it, but you're not really sure what the definition is. So this is the audacity of this bitch. The knife is cold. Slipping between cartilage and bone, cold is the only thing that I register. Severing you from me. I slice through us, through Genesis, through the fall, through damnation, through the rebuilding of us, through the wars, through the decimation, through the armor, carving in between the chains. The spark sets the lamppost on fire. The spark sets the forest on fire. The spark sets the world on fire. We are on fire. That's why I must cut you from me. I need to save you from the heat. I need to stop us from turning to char. Call me sacrilegious. Call me sanctifying. Just be alive and call me. One of the definitions of pivot was like an important figure in your life. So this is about my father, who passed in 2020. His obituary, or the article written on his death, is locked behind a paywall. They say the death of poetry is bloody. Bleeding out too fast on asphalt, they say it is hemophilia. Blood too thin to stick to a page. Whispers too quiet in the microphone, they say the death of poetry is the death of a 48-year-old man. No one knows the death of poetry is frown lines, therapy, years worth reading about, tears in pages. No one knows the death of poetry is graying hair, hazel eyes. No one knows it is a father. Poetry would be 52 today. Poetry would be at my wedding, my graduation. Poetry is a father bleeding out, ribs broken. Poetry is explicit. Its death cannot be censored. The death of poetry. The death of poetry is a jack of all trades, a loss of a legend. The death of poetry is life-threatening injuries. The death of poetry is opinionated. The death of poetry is this article is only available to subscribers. The death of poetry was a father always running late. And my final poem, if there are any cops in the crowd tonight, is there a content censor? Like, is there? No. Okay. Just had to check. If there are any cops in tonight, I'm not sorry. Pick a better profession. This is Roman salute. A couple of you have already heard this. Cause if it walks like a pig, and it talks like a pig, and it raises its arms like a pig. Cops never grew up from slave catching. Peter Pan's bastards putting us behind bars. That Montgomery March didn't take us quite as far as we needed to go. The children aren't our rights, they're being slaughtered. You see, the richest folks around these days are billionaires, but the richest folks back then were plantation owners, growing slaves by the bushel. Death has never been so ashamed of his scythe. Death has never been so ashamed of the sight of humanity's single worst nightmare come alive. When death takes me, bury me in a weeping willow. Let me feast on bones and carve my roots around his tongue. I have never been a fan of murder, but maybe the best way to eat a pig is by butchering it first.
Got the hitters out tonight, no? Something about February, it's just got us all. Like, we're all, wait, what?
That's probably the news.
All right, tell us about a time you are glad you made a quick pivot.
Going from who I once was to who I knew I could be.
All right, up next to the mic, we have a nonprofit leader, community organizer, and closet poet. Please put your hands together for CPT Fuller Hogan. Come on up.
Nonprofit leader thing probably sounds boring, but explains why I'm generally pissed off right now. Thank God for my kids, my husband, and the gummies in my nightstand drawer. So my pivot is not by choice, okay? Mountain Mama. She gathered up a bit of earth from beneath her feet and held it in her hands. It was cold and damp, and her fingers nearly froze. She held it though, until it dried out and turned to dust. And still, she held that. The winds of time and change laughed in her ears as they gathered up the dust and blew it out of her grasp. It was too much to bear, and she fell to her knees sobbing. She watched as the tears pooled in her hands and then slipped through her fingers, washing away any trace of what remained. When there were no more tears to cry, she rose to her feet, turned, and walked away. The wind ceased to blow, the sun shone down, and something began to grow in that spot. That very spot where the earth fell and her tears flowed. Something very much alive and brand new. She never looked back. It was not hers to see. She planted it in the earth. It grew with all she poured out and flourished in her son, but it was no longer hers. A room of her own. I come to this place alone, this space that was intricately carved out for me, and it saves me. When the words will not come and the air is heavy and I can feel the rise and fall of my chest with every breath I gather here. Here, surrounded by everything and no one, I find my voice in the pages of books, the flow of the fountain. It's in and on the walls in this space. This is love, born of his heart and crafted by his hands, simply so I could build a path to me, so that I could say all that needed to be said and breathe again, freely and effortlessly, so that my tongue could dance and my heart could bleed these things I must impart. With each click of the keys and stroke of my pen, I sacrifice pieces of me so that I can be whole again. In this space, intricately carved out for me, and it saves me. And the last one is about losing my grandfather. It's called Swimming in Big Water. It seems nothing good ever comes of grown-ups speaking in whispers. There was lots of whispering that morning, the morning after you left us. I was lying there on the bed in that space that was meant for you, but you had not been there in weeks, months maybe. Grandma couldn't stand to have that space meant for you, empty. So she put me there to inadequately fill a hole that was not meant for me. I pulled the sheets up to my chin and squeezed my eyes closed tightly. I could tell there was something so ominous about their whispers. I tried to steady my breathing. I tried to imagine what my sleep breathing sounded like so I could match it, but it left me feeling dizzy. They finally left, but the heaviness remained. It was wrapped around my ankles, my legs, my arms, and it kept willing me to stay there. Stay in that space meant for you. But then there was the sun. It found a space between the curtains down the side of my cheek, and it cast shadows on the wall. The sun hit my face differently that day. It was the first big heart hurt I'd ever experienced, but certainly not the last. You taught me to swim, and I remember being so afraid in the deep end. I'd skirt around the sides of it on my tippy toes, holding the wall, holding you. It seemed now I was diving into the deep end. No floaties, no wall, nothing. I learned that day what it really meant to swim in big water without you.
So we have two very, very, very special announcements tonight. I'm gonna make this one quick because we got some people to go. So we do this event in this room. You all come here, I stand here, you stand here, and then we leave. It's so much fun. We do it on Thursdays. So we will, however, though, we're shaking it up on Story Verse is going outside, and we're going to have an exceptionally special guest person. You guys will see these flyers that are back on the back table. So we're going to be taking Story and Verse outside. We will be doing a more succinct open mic type situation right on over there down the street. I will be hosting it, and then we're going to have Mr. Roberto Lugo come out and perform, as you all know, as you know. So please mark your calendars. There are these pieces of paper. You may take a photo of them if you don't want to take one home. You may take one home. You may give one to one of your friends. You can send them to everybody. As we will be doing this in April, a little bit different. So April 26th, mark your calendars. Now that I have done my TSA moment. Up next to the mic, which is why we all came here, for a poem, please put your hands together for Adam. Adam, come on up.
Hello, everyone. Second time performing, so hopefully it all goes smoothly. So I have three poems I'll try to go through quickly, I guess. First poem's a little bit general about pivoting. Two men at a crossroad, one labeled yes, the other, oh, wow, I forgot to say the title, I'm sorry. Which path to pick? Two men at a crossroad, one labeled yes, the other no, so they separate and decide where their life will go. The no turns down the dream job from fear of failure. Just the responsibility alone. His face couldn't be paid. Goes on date after date with no one to connect to. As soon as someone gets close, he finds someone new. Stuck in an apartment alone, his friends have learned there's no point in being rejected and feeling like you're burned. Stability decreases as his no progresses, regrets every decision for his lack of successes. One day he meets a stranger who takes him under his wing. It's the man with yeses, showing what life can bring. Embrace the job you love and break through the struggle. Prove to yourself there's nothing you can't juggle. With a love life, the right one will come along, who accepts your weaknesses and still sees you as strong. Don't deny friendships who just want to help, wishing for you to skip the four-walled cell. Try to enjoy life, he says, with yeses of opportunity, not no's of fear, and succumb to insecurities. When faced with a crossroad, don't fall for tricks. Be very careful of which path you pick. Thank you. This one's called a little more personal. It's, I can't even say past love, but I'll say a past relationship. It's called Finally Growth. That's right, you did it. You opened up that gate, fishing for naivete, and I took the bait. What was in front of me a facade, never showing what's up your sleeve. A wonderful magician, disappearing when you wanted to leave. All this talk of loyalty, like by your side I'll stay, it didn't take you too much time to find your next prey. It rattles my brain, the schemes you tried to pull, yet my internal battle is what you call bull. The villain you become, two-faced flipping a coin, with anyone and everyone's fate to see who would join. Don't worry about me now, I've learned from my past, thanks to the lessons that I had to take up fast. Surprisingly, I'm the happiest I've ever been, with a man who I could describe as nothing but genuine. We're on a journey now to get married, to celebrate something real. I can't even believe how much love for each other we feel. I healed up just fine, it just required some time. I needed growth anyway, obstacles to climb. Who knows, maybe you've changed for the better too. Luckily, I don't have the slightest clue. Last one is about just my biggest pivot or realization. So coming out of the closet. It's called So Much More. With life in limbo, I knew something had to be done. Overrun with thoughts, but standing out there was one. The one to break these chains, bound to my feet and wrists. The one where I'm actually proud that my being exists. At a time that I'd rather die than admit what was true, coming out of the closet was my biggest breakthrough. To realize there was so much more of life to be had, my search for a home ended, no longer a nomad. Although my truest self can finally be free, this is not the only aspect that defines me. I laugh, I cry, sometimes I scream, my esteem may falter, but never my dreams. Always striving to be better from where I was the day before, struggling at times to win my internal war. I'm just like everyone else with my strengths and my flaws, yet my life is judged by religion and absurd laws. There's so much more to be seen past my sexual desire, but don't expect me to be ashamed of whom I admire.
Right. Tell us about a time you're glad you made a quick pivot. When a deer ran in front of my car. All right, up next, we have an interactive poem. Please put your hands together for Georgette Walker. Come on up, Georgette.
Hello, my name is Georgette. This is my first time performing poetry in a crowd this big, and that's not family. So, this poem was inspired by a few coworkers. Like I worked for this job for about 4 years, and I experienced some things that were, well, you'll hear it in the poem. And the second part came from a book that I read in one of my classes, My Past, American Sonnet for My Past and Future. Bear with me because I'm nervous. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to clap 3 times when you hear me. So when I say me, I just need the audience to clap. Okay. And then I'm gonna ask you to do a few other things. You can, you don't have to, but you know, it's. clapped at me, and I clapped back. And this is the imagery of a black woman under attack. Now stomp your feet. And this is the rolling sound of a black woman trampled, beat down under defeat. Disrespected, neglected, rejected, and unprotected. What internal conflict? Now cover your eyes. This is the scene of the majority unwilling to see the faces and the pain of those they despise. And if you can't see the pain or the fears, do they even exist? Even when you see us killed with no resist. They say no one likes us. They say we are ghetto and loud, and we lack culture. The audacity for us to live out proud. Yet, here we stand, loving people blindly, people who wouldn't spare a thought of us in a blink your eyes. Yes, that quick. They forget the weight of their words. They forget the pain they inflicted. But we remember the saying goes, repeat after me. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. But those words killed pieces of us inside, stripping us of our pride, leaving us walking with our heads down, wondering why our existence is a crime in their eyes. Now hear me. Speaking of these scars get thick, heavy, raw, I know, makes me sick that words like this need mention. It's them and us, what tension, the divide. Now imagine this, showing up as yourself, authentically, only to be told that you're doing it wrong and that you don't belong. Now please hold hands. And this is the imagery of each one reaching one, but each one stands alone. Support denied, development delayed, and growth outgrown. Now imagine showing up as you. Fear of every word weighed, every glance questioned, while the world hears and sees us wrong. But remember, every time someone's words broke you, remember the ache, and that's the accountability that makes the earth quake. Do unto others, yet you do unto others, yet they do unto us what they would never accept for themselves. Try, and I mean try to be the change you want to see in the world, but compassion, it circles back, never spreading past thee to those who need it most. You become the exception to the rule because they know you. We are told we speak with so much aggression, but no, it's passion mixed with reason, but they can't understand what season. This is the imagery of a heart on fire, burning through rejection, the sound of the voice that refuses to be silenced, while I sit in a class of people who look nothing like me while they read the N-word silently. Now stop your feet. And I stomp back. And this is the echo of resilience. You clapped at me and I clapped back. And this is the sound of a black woman refusing to be under attack, refusing to bow down. Now raise your fists in the air and hold them high, because this is the power that they cannot deny.
Tell us about a time you're glad you made a quick pivot. When I heard and felt the call. All right, up next to the mic. Our next performer would like us to know that they missed their poetry hat. You can find their work at sundayblu.poet. Please put your hands together for Sunday Blue. Sunday, come on up.
Yeah, I really have been missing that hat. I'd also like to say my leather jacket squeaks a lot, and I'm sorry.
Full transparency.
And I have a few pivots. One, I'm going to time myself. I never time myself and I have ridiculously long poems, and everybody knows that, so that is a real pivot. And then the other pivot is I might actually read a love poem, which for me is a new deal. All right, but first, let's get into the witchy weirdo stuff. So, all right. Let go of what you've protected with thorns of anxiety and mothering. Let go of all the seeds that are for sowing. Trust the prayer of light and of fire. Trust that this is enough. What medicine will grow from the offering that you make of your voice? Maybe the thorns and brambles know, maybe somewhere I know it too. When the wind blows and the water whispers to you, keep going. Are we lost in symbol and story in an endless, exhausting lust for knowing what can't really be known? And here I am again, ready for the risk of life. What choice do I have? The seed casing broke in a dream last night, and my weapons are dull and weary. War is everywhere I look. It is a sign of readiness. It is a sign of song. That's that one. Thank you very much. I got 3 minutes. Oh gosh. Okay. I want to read one love song, but I got this other one that's anyway. I'll get you the little song if I don't get fun. Okay. Ask the birds. Ask the birds to show you what joy is. Because I can only tell you what I know. That there is no pleasure and that there is no pain. That a cloud is rain. We are the ocean and we walk aimlessly, and all we need to know is what poisons the water. Because what will be left to seek, you see, my words are my seeds now. How cold is your hand on winter soil? How painful is acid rain? How thirsty is the bird of prey? How deep is death and what resurrects? The truth is, there is a whole sky full of gods who are bored by joy, perfection, because it is immaculate, because it was not born of everything, it was made of aversion alone. The birds fly calling their sisters home because no seed flourishes without all the seasons. Interconnected things know more than just pleasure and pain. They know everything. So drink the water you make when pleasure begets only pleasure, and ask the birds what joy is. Okay, I got enough time for a love poem. Okay. Thank God, I'm 44. It's about time. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Wish me luck. This is called Jersey Hopes. With every breath, every interrupted thought, every smile, every prayer for freedom and happiness, we rest. We build. Futures may be unknown to both of us, but happily we build. In a blue suburban bedroom, Jersey Hopes. Poems between our legs, on the page, in our chest. This happiness is the kind you find by giving in to the way life builds things.
This is one of those micro stories that makes it worth it. Tell us about a time you're glad you made a quick pivot. I checked out of Home Depot, rope and duct tape in hand. But then I called my therapist, and I'm still here 8 years later. Our next performer sometimes brings us things to eat
and they wrote in there, anything else you'd like us to know about you? Sorry, no snacks, I got you in March, so come back in March. Just come back in March. Have some snacks. Please put your hands together for Fidel Jones.
Well, actually, my poem is a little interactive as well. I'm going to need someone who has a little bit of bass in their voice and isn't afraid to kind of yell. So, if you want to run up here, I'll look away. You can volunteer. Or I'll choose somebody randomly. Three? For what? 2?
Some bass in your voice.
Yeah, look. I believe it. It's all good. Now I need 3 more people. There's 2?
Come on, one more person.
There we go. Hey, you guys were all racist. All right. So, my poem here. You guys know about left face, right face, about face? Yep.
No.
Well, you could just,
I'll just do it when he does.
this is right. Right face is this. Turn it that way.
Like direction.
And then left face is this. And then about face is a whole 360. Or
Okay, gotcha.
like
Okay,
that.
which direction? All right.
Right. Cool. So what I'm gonna need you to do is you're gonna say these words once I'm done speaking. And we're gonna say, when she says attention, we're gonna say yes, sir. You're not a sir, but
That's fine.
yes, sir, yes. And then I'm gonna start speaking, and then as I'm done speaking, one of you will fall off. You get what I'm saying?
Like, every time you're done speaking?
Every time I'm done speaking, one of you will fall off. I will point to you.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Yeah, so you're gonna be personal attention, and then once I say something, all right. Cool, thank you. Thank you. All right. If you don't mind, can you be in front of us? Oh, there we go. Fun fact, I used to do a little bit of ROTC, so this is kind of based off that and my experiences, and it kind of goes off with pivoting, if you realize. All right, go ahead.
Attention!
Hold on, this is how I did it in ROTC. Okay. There we go. Or you can put it this way, either way. Sir, may I speak, sir?
At ease.
It's like this. All right. I gain a perspective that only one can ever acquire at the ripe age of 6. I bear witness to life that I have gotten the pleasure of knowing. So painful, but resulting in something so small, so precious. Cried a lot, but I would shed tears too if I was ripped from my place I called home for 10 months. Something so delicate that I fear my fingers will let slip.
Attention! Right face.
There we go. Sir, may I speak freely?
At ease.
My world crumbled around me as soon as I realized that my perception was no longer reality. Oh no, they're here. The men who made me realize I was no longer a child under my mother's roof, but an unrealized adult that was taking up space in another's occupied dimension. That was the apartment I've known my whole life. Tossed into the streets with streams of rain out of eyelids. At 16, my mother was no longer my mother, but a person who saw me but did not think of me.
Attention! Left face.
Sir, may I speak freely?
At ease.
Faded lights, slow blinks, stomach flips that could be felt on the other side of the room as I laid in the hospital bed with faces of disappointment. Shit. At 20, I thought I had gotten to a place of bliss, but here I am laying flat on my back, begging and pleading with my father to look at me, to love me. It was one time, in a moment of weakness, that alcohol had consumed my very being due to low self-esteem. I wanted to be pretty like the other girls.
Attention! About face.
Sir, may I speak freely, sir?
Eddie's.
Each turn, each face, each coming of age moment bringing me tears of joy to death of egos. Yet I had yet to learn that life is not done with a baseball pitches of 110 miles per hour, but actually ramping up the arm for more fastballs through love, disease, abandonment, and unconditional to conditional love. At 26, I have bared witness to life that has turned and resulted in death, my very own. However, the fastballs have lessened and I've prevailed. I will no longer be taking orders from you, sir. You see that horizon? That's me, chasing the sun. And living moments that have crushed me, but I also brought appeasement. Here I rest. We can all do that. I forgot to say the name of the poem. It's called Attention, if you hadn't noticed.
So much crowd work though. Like, wow, we're really all on the same page. Like, we're really all on the same page tonight. I love it. Do you think if we asked the guy who's blowing snow outside to come inside, if he would, do you think he'd be like, no, I'll do this, I'll hang out for a minute. Hold on, I'll take a break. All right, so tell us about a time you were glad you made a quick pivot. Today, when I decided to read an old piece instead of the one I wrote specifically for tonight. Have to recycle this scene later, find out what that was. All right, for our next performer, please put your hands together for a poem from Mark P. Mark, come on up.
Great, thank you. I'm Mark. February is the month of love, so I dedicate these two poems to Lillian. We've been married for 491 years. And I can say, Lillian, in front of all these witnesses, that I will find you in the next life. When I was a kid, I used to collect comic books. And the title of this poem is My Weakest Superhero. The weakest superhero I ever had and known to me is dear to me. She can comfort with a look and offer support with an eyebrow. She exudes love in listening and deliberately forgets the rough moments. She struggles opening bottled water and looks at cans with challenge. She holds my hand as balance. Mostly, she lifts my soul from the darkest memories and tells me to sing while flying. That's the first one. This is just simply called Lillian. She would never leave the house. Age, thought, and disillusionment find pillow comfort in her familiar walls. The movement grace of a nightgown dances in her sheer contentment. She sees things differently than others. Natural compassion, open eyes, wide heart, past pain. The doorbell has no meaning. Thank you.
Up next to the mic, please put your hands together for a poem by our dear, dear friend, Athira. Athira, come on up.
Hi everybody. Hi. Really nice to see everybody here today on this snowy February night. Today I have two poems. I think the second one's a little bit on topic, but we'll see. The first one's called When I Met You. When I met you, I learned that the difference between desire and desperation is just a turn of phrase. When I met you, I traced the lines on my palm and despaired about the break in one, absence of another, promises of early death, marriage thrice, eternal soulmates. When I met you, I lit my incense, wrote your name thrice in crimson red, folded thrice, buried it in salt, risen to ash on the third day. When I met you, I believed again, called on every deity I knew by name, wishing, hoping for an answering voice, break the silence as I screamed noiselessly into the void. When I met you, I knew the cosmic impotence of being human, faced with the relentless indifference from the universe, how in desperation man made God in his own image. The second one is called My Glass Edges. My glass edges. Today I woke up, made myself tea, watched the birds sing, and decided to let you go. Why, you ask? It's everything that led to nothing. Maybe it was the way your eyes lingered on mine as we stood a breath apart in the middle of the hallway at our office. Maybe it was the way your fingertips kept brushing mine as you showed me the most inconsequential details around. Maybe it was the way you waited for me, awkwardly making small talk, waiting for them to leave. And my heart tripped each time, falling down a chasm you touched like the oasis you stumble into when lost in a desert, turning into a mirage, sapping up the last of your will, fighting with this unreasonable, indifferent universe. You left each time, turned your back on me, and I ceased to exist to you. Wilting, disappearing in the absence of your light, measuring the shadows, counting the transgressions that led us here, and I think of your girlfriend back home. I extend my roots into the ground, searching, grasping for remnants of my being, scattered by your whirlwind presence. I hold on, and here I rise. Look into the mirror of my heart, and you will find no mercy. Look at the countenance of my face, the color rushing in, the quiver of my lips stilled by the rising heat. Look at me, I'm a kaleidoscope, each glass edge sharpened by the breaks, forming light into a million stars. The stars that want for nothing. Tomorrow, I'll let you go. Thank you.
So before I share our next performer and call him on up here, I have another event to share with you all. Did my printer have the ink to print the piece of paper with it on? No, it didn't. So I'm going to tell you verbally, and then I will have you take pictures of the flyer on my phone, and hopefully we'll all figure it out from there. So I am starting a new open mic in my dearest hometown, my own neighborhood of South Trenton. I'm starting a new open mic. It's called Trenton Speaks Open Mic. Our first meeting, right? It will be on Sunday. It'll be on Sunday, 5 p.m. So Sunday, March 2nd, 5 p.m. at Cafe Ojala. It is completely, we can do Español, we can do English, we can do Creole, we can do whatever you want. We'll figure it out. So yeah, it's going to be multilingual. I will be hosting. It starts at 5 p.m. Cafe Ojala. That's on Cass Street in Trenton. It is parking. You're going to fend for yourself, but I'll be there, so we'll all be able to figure it out. So please do find me afterwards. Connect with me on social media. I will send you the flyer, whatever. There's a new thing happening. Come. It's on a Sunday. It won't conflict with this event or any other event. So yes. Woo. All right. Up next to the mic, please put your hands together for a poem by Deborah. Deborah, come on up.
Everyone said a group of strangers or just friends you haven't met yet. So, hi friends. Hi, a little nervous here, but
Got that.
what is pivot? To me, I asked last time. You didn't tell me, so I figured it out. To me, pivot is two things. One is a physical pivot. And another is a pivot from one state to another. Sort of a physical and a spiritual. We have 2 poems that I wrote. The first poem was inspired by social dancing. I like to social dance. And the poor souls perusing the dance floor, looking for someone to be interested in and getting up the courage to ask them to dance. And the second poem is in Italian, but I will read it in both languages for you. And it's about the beauty of a pivot from light into dark. Okay, first one, we're social dancing here, right? I am an eagle. I am an eagle, majestic, regal. I fly on generous wings and catch crosswinds across September's golden sky, eyeing my prey hungrily. I imagine the chase, like courtship in a dance of give and take, flirting among breezes that kiss our souls, breathlessly crossing paths. Alas, denied, hesitation slows the pace, modesty rules with grace. I soar above and dive for the kill, but lose the race amongst the night peaceful and still. So the second one is in Italian, and I fell in love with the word. I'm a student of Italian. I take private lessons, and I love the language. It's a language that's bellissima. Is there anyone here that speaks Italian? Ah,
Beautiful.
Very
beautiful.
Allora, it's called Ecco il tramonto, and il tramonto means the sunset. I love the word, and I love sunsets. Ecco il tramonto, misterioso, silenzioso, bellissimo. Respira I suoi colori di oro e rosso con un sospiro così dolce, uno spettacolo del cuore, uno spettacolo di passione. Piano, piano il tramonto attraversa il ponte tra il giorno e la notte, dalla luce alla oscurità. Piano, piano arriva il tramonto per abbracciare la vita con le ombre dei sogni. E quando il tramonto è finito e il mondo indossa il suo mantello nero, siamo felici, in pace, e guardiamo con speranza verso una terra d'amore e dormiamo.
Bravo. Bravo.
In English, here comes the sunset, mysterious, silent, beautiful. It breathes its colors of gold and red with such a sweet sigh, a show of the heart, a show of passion. Softly, softly, the sunset crosses the bridge between day and night, from light to darkness. Softly, softly, the sunset comes to embrace life with the shadows of dreams. And when the sunset is done and the world wears its cloak of black cloak, we are happy, at peace, and we look with hope to a land of love, and we sleep.
All right. For those of you who feel like you're going to pass out, we have 4 people left, so don't worry. You're going to be able to eat soon if you haven't eaten yet. The next person that we have up is very near and dear to my heart. They wrote for us to know, for me to read aloud. Please follow him on YouTube at A Benedict. So please follow him on YouTube.
Please put your hands together for A Benedict.
Thank you, Press. Let's hear it for Press. Come on. And Melissa in the back. Quick plug, if I may. I'm gratified and very fortunate. In March 22nd, I'll be back here in this theater as one of the featured performers at Cafe Improv. So I'll be doing like a 15-minute set. So if you can make it, it's a Saturday night, March 22nd. So they talk about roads and where roads lead, and eventually we want roads to lead somewhere. I've always wanted roads to lead to the casino where I finally get blackjack, saying it once in my life, but intersecting roadways take us in different directions. This one is called intersection. Stress, fear, anxiety meeting at intersecting roadways. Curving, swerving, turning with trepidation along brambles of brain-corrupted pathways diverging. Driving faster, cigar smoke blowing and swirling out the window, revealing a glimpse into what may lie ahead. Far past this converging, intersecting destination. Roads behind so many miles ago, familiar routes feeling like years before as memories begin to flow. During this mindless, fearful, deviating drive, wallowing in regret, speeding through stop signs, questioning life-altering transformative decisions, poor choices, charting ocean-crossing voyages, bravery trying to drop anchor in tempests of contradiction. What's been done cannot be undone. This car no longer drives in reverse. Mournful dirges cannot be unsung. Roadways, like life, are distinct and diverse. Still driving, racing, pivoting, fading like the sun in the rearview mirror, looking at the road ahead, soaking in the sweet sky and scenery, no longer questioning, avoiding, or cursing stress, fear, and anxiety, meeting at intersecting roadways. God, I hate winter. At this point, I love winter when it's coming up. I think it's great. You know it's like, all right, come on, go. So this one I wrote, it's called January Thaw. January Thaw. Winter casting its spell, wrapping and whirling within winds blowing from the northwestern horizon, carrying flurries of white delight. January sinking its teeth into soft, snow-covered scenes, brightening my senses, with ice dropping from rusted roofs, creating sharp, crystal-like, foreboding stalactites, threatening my walking path as I'm dancing underneath dark, cold, starry nights. I'm still wondering when my amber-colored pumpkin patch disappeared, hiding, finding it buried deep beneath snow-covered stalks, just beyond yesterday's urgent crop. Yesterday, seeming like minutes ago, feelings stirred into a cocktail I'm sipping as I'm reminded that yesterday only represents 1/3 of my life, minus the present and the future. Snow falling again onto blades of grass with the most deliberate detail. Each flake representing a simple speck, serving as a building block, telling the universe's deep, vast story. January unleashing another storm defined by winter's wrathful, vengeful, whimsical winter, white-colored cascade, begging to be teased by a warm, welcoming thaw. For now, winter's icy blanket is warming, compliments of yesterday's snowfall, warmth and hopefulness convincing me that tomorrow the bird will sing once more. A lot of interactive work that you folks have been put to tonight, huh? A lot for help and assistance. Well, I need that too. So, this next one's called Swipe. So when I do this, you're gonna yell swipe. Okay? Anybody ever online date? Now we know where we're going with this, right? Okay, swipe. Online dating can be adventurous, transformative, and especially humorous. Putting your best foot forward, convincing an audience through your online Shakespearean soliloquy, rage played on a website stage. Swipe. Give someone a mask and they'll show you their true self, wrote Oscar Wilde, who wore many, but never visited Match or eHarmony. Tinder and Hinge, ancient selfies from love seekers serving as masks from decades ago. Swipe. A prospective trawler seeking plenty of fish to feed their ego. Unfulfillment and an attention-starved soul swiping through Cupid's garden, a hookup, the ultimate goal. Swipe. Stumbling through dating sites, pain, fear, and bliss from past relationships emerging. Online bios are written with the creativity of Lord Byron, Hemingway, or Toni Morrison, but much less defined, much less refined. Swipe. Checking alerts like a Pavlovian dog salivating over the inbox. Exhilarating, nerve-wracking, enticing conversations with strangers. Mom said don't talk to strangers, but nothing about online dating. Swipe. Not feeling a connection? Passing on single after single? Damn this bloody online matchmaking invention. Swipe. You guys are the best, thank you.
All right, this is our third to last performer, guys, so soak it up. Please put your hands together for some spoken word by Padmaha Ji. Padmaha, come on up.
Padmaja. Don't worry, I call myself the naked soul. And I'm about to pivot you into philosophy. How many of you have heard the word nirvana, not the music band? Not bad. It's more of the metaphysical consciousness state that's in Buddhist and Indian philosophies. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you will know. This is called the humble pebble and the lofty hermit. So there was this hermit on a hilltop. He had been sitting still for so long that anthills grew around him, on him, and in him. The trees had dropped their branches, and with every wisp of air, the leaves tickled his nostrils. The vines crept mirthfully around him, entangling his thumb with his forefinger. The rain fell as on a pillow. The sun beat down its UVs. The winds blasted his hair off its sockets, and the cold froze his shoulders. Seasons passed. Ants crawled. Bees buzzed. Spiders spun. And he sat on, oblivious. No water touched that mouth. No food touched that belly. He is in a state of nirvana. Everyone said, staring at him in awe. They filed past him in reverence that he never saw. They adorned his seat with flowers that he never smelled. They brought him food that he never ate. They chanted his praise that he never heard. They sought his blessings that he never gave. Years passed. He sat still. He is in a state of nirvana. Everyone said. He is beyond hunger, thirst, and greed, they said. No sorrow, no joy, no emotion can move him, they said. He is in that state for which one has to do penance for years, endure hunger and thirst for eons before they fade away. Forget family, forego love, shun hate, and ignore greed. Till one feels the peace within. It takes a great deal of introspection, they said, scoring thousands of religions, hundreds of gods, dealing with the mirth of agnostics and philosophical thoughts. Gosh. It takes grit, they said, and a burning desire to know the truth. He is in a state of nirvana. Everybody said it takes devotion and deep thinking. He is one that has gone
beyond the need for food, for water, and plain laughter. He's in a state of nirvana. Everyone cried. He's one that has become one with himself. He is now sitting so still, so motionless, so without emotions or needs, much like the pebble at his foot. The pebble at his foot. The pebble at his foot had been lying there for years. Nobody said. They didn't file past it in reverence. They never brought it food. They never chanted its praise. They never sought its blessings. No sorrow, no joy, no emotion can move the pebble. Nobody said. The pebble must have done penance for years and forego love, water, and feelings forevermore to be in the state. Nobody said. The pebble has always been in a state of nirvana. Nobody said. Thank you. She says, I have an announcement to make. You're all invited to a Global Creatives Gathering event that's online on Saturday, 22nd at 10:30 a.m. This is sponsored by Artsy Community, of which I'm a founder. And what we aim to do is bring creatives of all genres, all domains, all geographies together on an online platform where we have, I'm not kidding you, 2 Grammy winners from New York City, but more importantly, we have creatives from some obscure village in Madurai, India. You've not heard about that town. So our aim is to bring all the creatives together on a platform where, like a Parisian salon style, we sit down and talk about things that are relevant to artists today. Not Facebook, not Instagram, but actual Zoom meetings. You're all in those squares, but talking about things that matter to us creatives. So if you're interested, reach out to me. I'll be sitting over here.
Take your minute when you got one. All right, up next to the mic, we've got 2 performers to go. And then I will say, for those of you who are not so camera shy, I've been making us take a school photo. It's like my favorite thing to do at the end. I'm just like, please someone take a picture of me. And then we all stand up here and we pretend like we're in elementary school. And then you can leave. So if you'd like to stay for that, I would make me so happy. Please stay. Let's all take a picture together. And also, please put your hands together for the veteran mental health advocate and motivational speaker, Janet Latoya. Janet, get up here!
How y'all doing? Peace, peace, peace. I'm Janet Latoya, grateful to be here, grateful to be alive, grateful for it all, right? Thank you for this space, thank you. It's funny because I was super nervous, so I perform often, but I was in a chair, I was like, oh my God, what did you call me? I'm freaking out. but this is good. It is Love Month, somebody mentioned that. Shout outs to love. Oftentimes when we think of love, we think of other people, not ourselves. So this is the focus for me is self-love. Also the micro story that I did. My pivot is going from who I once was to who I already am, or who I knew I could be. So this piece is entitled Broken Crayons. Here I go again. It's showing up again. Spiraling downhill again. Trying to pick up the pieces of me again. Master of everything. and nothing at the same time again. Doesn't it count as a good try? But if you fail, what does that say? It says you did your best, although you needed assistance. I'm talking about being bound in an area that you never flowed freely in. Bound by the inability to perform at a level that you would deem successful. I know, I seem to be rambling out loud. Let me make it a bit clearer. You see, I have this struggle that makes it extremely difficult and sometimes nearly impossible to sit down for a full work day and be productive. Trust me, I have no issue putting in the work. But when it comes to my focus, it's so hard to focus. It's like, get tasks done, distracted. Utilize the latrine, distracted. You got this, distracted. Brainstorm, distracted. Take notes, distracted. I need a snack break. Cell phone rings. 17 emails in one thread. Interruption. Responding to someone else's crisis. Yawning. Get tasks done, distracted. You got this, distracted. Brainstorm, distracted. Take notes. Utilize the latrine, distracted. I need a snack break. Cell phone ring, 17 emails in one thread, interruption, responding to someone else's crisis, yawning, it's time to go home now. The job isn't done, but it's 5 p.m. now. Not to mention, I did the best that I could, which doesn't quite meet the company's standard. You see, I'm a person with excellent interpersonal skills, teamwork abilities, unmatched compassion, and a position of positive influence. I've been highly effective with being others' mirrors, pushing people and families forward, unpaid therapy sessions, offline prayer requests. Many, I just need to talk to you, Miss Latoya, because when I do, my life gets better. You are so positive. You are so calm. You get me back on my square when I feel all the lines disappearing. You help save my life. And little do they know is, I need help saving mine too. My mental and body get caught up too. I'm on a daily grind too. The only difference between my clients and I is that my tears are invisible. My cries are silent. My smile is vibrant and my hands are up. And I know it looks as if I'm simply worshiping, and I am. But in the middle of the deep end. My issues and deficits are so overwhelming. I had a thought last night. The thought was, why? Why would God make me if he knew I would struggle this much? If he knew it would take me 200 times as much to get the same task done as you? At times, there's no response. But I like to believe that I just have to find the right career for me. So I had my first evaluation yesterday. True story. Deep down inside, I know, excuse me, the poem once said, I have an upcoming appointment scheduled, but it was yesterday. So can we clap for that real quick? Deep down inside, I know that the gifts that I was blessed with still have the ability and the power to take me to rooms that I am not qualified for. The love in my heart still has the authenticity to contagiously benefit the world around me. My poems still have the privilege to impact you in a way where you would know to never give up, even if you are the only one advocating for yourself. One day I'll share my diagnosis. In the meantime, please remember, that broken crayons still color. Love it.
If you come to these enough, you will kind of start to get tired of my organization of this event. The person who's up next, can I have an audience member possibly raise their hand and tell me who's up next? Does anybody know? Wait, hold on. I got back there. Melissa? Suze?
No,
Suze? Wait, stop. Oh my god, everybody, please put your hands together for Suze!
Remember that one time you made me go first?
No, I know.
I jacked it. I did. Speaking of which, so there's a couple things. I struggled with the theme tonight because I was like, I couldn't form a story around it, although I kind of knew the story I wanted to tell, so like I kind of struggled putting it together, kind of like when you're, like some orgasms when they're just right there, come, so to speak, and then also, like seriously, and I don't know if anybody, anyway, just me.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, I barely practice this because my mom's dying, I know. No, that was actually funny. For those of you who know, it's actually kind of a funny thing. But anyway, you have to know to know. And also, I'm a little high because I had a gummy right before.
Only one?
It's actually only a quarter, but that's going to be part of the story.
We love you too.
Okay. So, why thanks. Love you too. Okay, so a couple summers ago, one day I left the house wearing this amazing magenta flouncy skirt that had underneath, it had like a coral underbelly, and then I was wearing this carefully crafted, very strategically crocheted rainbow bikini top, and only my finest yellow flip-flops, because I was going to a festival. And a bitch will go anywhere to dance. So Facebook tells me there's a festival somewhere and I am on my way, right? So I'm out to like Uncle Joe Bob's farm somewhere out in Bobunk, New Jersey somewhere, you know. And I pull in and I park the car and, you know, my people are there, right? The hula hoopers, one of which I know personally. The fire dancers, the skinny white guys in harem pants, the white women with dreadlocks. It's a thing. Like the whole thing is patchoulis just all over the place, and there's a whole bunch of hacky sacks. And so I'm there, and I dance my fool ass off for hours, right? Having the best time of my life. And this is where the bad decision comes in. I'm like, how can I make this better? So I go over to the little booth that has a little pot leaf on it. I call it pot. I'm 55, so I call it pot. You guys probably call it flower or something fancy. It's pot. So I go over and I'm like, hi, I'm here, I'm having fun, and I wanted to know if you had anything I could help you make like just a little bit better. And he's like, rad. And I go, okay, so the thing though, is there anything you could maybe give me? Like, I don't know, what have you got? And he's like, cool. And he hands me like an entire chocolate bar, and I go, oh, I don't know. I'm a 55-year-old woman, and I'm a lightweight, so probably like how much would I, like a Hershey bar. And he said, one of the cubes, one of the squares. I'm like, one of these squares? Okay, you sure? I'm lightweight. Remember I said I'm a lightweight? You're fine, bro, you're fine. So I go back to my little batik little blanket, my Zafu, and I sit down and I eat my little chocolate, and I'm lying there and I'm just listening to the music, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, my feet are fluffy. Right? And I'm like, have the trees always like spoken to me and looked just so beautiful? And then my next thought was, you're fucked. You are so baked, right? And it's only the beginning of the baking. So I know that I gotta, my second thought is, you gotta drive home now. Okay, so here, I'm the designated driver and the undesignated driver at the same time, because my thought was to get in the car, right? So I do, so I skedaddle, grab my shit, skedaddle back to the car, and I'm sitting there, and I don't know if you've ever been in a festival, but the parking is like, there's no lines, there's no spaces, it's just like row and row and row, tightly spaced cars, right? So I get in my Subaru festooned with bumper stickers, because I'm one of these people, and I decide I need to leave urgently. It's the middle of the day, right? But I don't leave before everybody else is leaving, because that's gonna be problematic. Because it's not already a huge problem. Anyway, that was the funny part nobody got. Anyway, so I'm in the car and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna plot to the right, because I don't go left ever, even sober. So I go out to the right and I'm like, wait, no, I can't go to the right, because if I go to the right, I feel like I might clip that car over here. And then there's a truck that's there and it's kind of pulling out a little bit. And I feel like I don't know that angle, so I can't, and then I come back and then I pivot over to the left. And then I'm going, no, I can't do that, because I never do left anyway. And then if I go that way, there's like an angle there that I can't quite figure out, so I jockey back in and I'm like, So then I'm like, oh, I should back it up, because that's a brilliant idea. So I'm gonna back up and I'm like, but wait, which way do I turn this to make the back of the car? Does it go like this way? And then it happens like it's an hour of me in the car, and I call it like a beautiful mind chalkboard, where I'm like, okay, if I turn the car this way, and then I move this way, and then that truck will and carry the two, and then I'm like, I can't move. So then I just sit there in my car for like 6 hours. Like, I did not trust myself to leave until the entire parking lot was empty. So finally, it's like middle of the night, right? And I'm like, okay, I can leave. So I leave the parking lot and go into 206 at around 2.4 miles an hour, because you don't want to be driving 84 in a 25, so you kind of overcorrect it a little bit. So I'm driving down 206 at like a speed that I could have walked by my car. And there's like 75 cars behind me, probably wishing that I was anywhere else on the planet besides behind this Subaru. And I'm like this, gotta get home, gotta get home. And I'm driving and I'm like, oh my God, is that a ditch? What's gonna happen? I'm looking for anyone. I'm like, this is not a good idea. So I'm looking for any place to pull over, and I'm like, oh my God, a cow. And then I see this little spot and I pull in and I go into my little spot and I park, and I'm like, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna close my eyes for a minute. I wake up, who knows how long later, and I'm like, oh my God, where am I? Did somebody kidnap me? And so I didn't know it. So then I'm like, oh my God, I think I have to kick out the taillights. They tell you to kick out I'm in my own car. I'm in the front seat of my own car attempting to kick out taillights. And so then I'm like, okay, this is, I just need to sit here for a little while, and I just need to hold my shit down a little bit. And like 18 hours later, I decided it was safe to try to drive home. And so I drove home about 5 miles, because it's wearing off a little bit. But let's remember, I'm a 55-year-old woman, and I'm a lightweight. So I drive home, I get in my house, I get in the bed, I do whatever I need to do, and then a few hours later, I get back up on Facebook, and it's like, oh, there's a festival tomorrow. I really gotta give this some careful consideration, because we all know what happened yesterday, right? So the next day, I gave it all this consideration, and I got up and I was like, that day I left the house wearing my beautiful long swishy Indian dress with no underwear and my blue flip-flops, and it was on.
Oh my goodness, friends, this has been an evening. A really quick round of applause for everybody who listened in before, please. All right, you are gonna find us back here on Thursday, March 20th. That's easy to remember because it's this date, but just next month. So please find us back here. We're starting at the same time, 7 p.m. Get here at 6:30 if you want to sign up. You can find me for the Trend Speaks Open Mic, our first ever. On March 2nd, please find me for that flyer. Find everybody else who plugged something as well. A very big thank you to the Arts Council of Princeton for hosting us. I was legit, me and you. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got an open theme for next month, so it's literally anything goes, everything goes. Please somebody bring some tap shoes. I'd love to see that. We'll move the carpet. Thank you so much for coming out and listening. Please drive home safe. Be like Suze, all right? Safe, slow, park if you need to. Have an excellent night. I will see you next month. Thank you so much, guys.